basically the show we chat about sports, the show we chat about some entertainment, and then we bring it all together to chat some sports entertainment, aka rasslin. We're hosts. I'm Boris, and as always, I am joined by Matt.
Bonjour! How's everybody doing out there? We hope you're doing well, and a happy Halloween. It is the spooky season, Boris. Spooky podcast. Spooky.
Spooky indeed. That's how we do here. How's it going? How are you?
Good, man. I'm a little bit unemployed at the moment, but I got a line on a couple good jobs. Hopefully one of them work out. And, trying to stay positive, slugging away, as they say, trying to get at bats. But, life is good. I was feeling a little down recently, but I woke up today energized. And like I said, job thing I think is going to work out. Fingers crossed. And, all is well. How are you, my friend?
I am doing fan-fucking-tastic.
Amazing.
You know that definition of insanity when someone's crazy, when they keep doing the same thing? You know exactly where I'm going with this.
Yeah, brother. I know. I've been feeling a lot of that myself lately too. But yes, please go on if you'd like. Maybe not. Maybe let's just leave that there.
I know, right? I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to be smart. I'm going to leave it there.
Same. All right. Well, moving on. You know what I did? And let's go entertainment then sports. The old entertainment sports, as they call it, rather than sports entertainment. You know what I did last night for the first time ever in my life, young homie? Relax over there, for Christ's sakes. I watched the Mike Myers movie 1993 cult classic, So I Married an Axe Murderer. Good Canadian boy Mike Myers doing his thing. It both aged terribly for a number of reasons. The soundtrack is fucking crazy. They play one song like 4 times. But anyway, it also is pretty hilarious. It's got some moments. I like that movie. I should have seen it much before this. But yeah, I like
about that movie here on this show in the past.
And I've said I fucking need to watch that, etc. But yeah, I am glad that I finally did. One of your favorites, as they say, it is a Boris core movie.
Yeah, it is. Honestly, I watched it when it came out. I remember we used to have the illegal box to watch wrestling, and so we had viewers' choice pay-per-view, as they called it here in Southern Ontario. And I remember distinctly watching that movie with my brother, because it was obviously a movie that my brother wanted to watch. And man, I just loved it back then. Years later, I watched it again and loved it even more, right? Like, it is such a good movie. It is, unfortunately, came out after Wayne's World and stuff like that. So Mike Myers was, this was a different type of movie for him. And it wasn't the most successful movie, but damn, is it an underrated movie?
Yeah, no, it's
some would even classic. Say, Matt, it was unloved.
I see what you did there, big homie. Cult classic status. I feel like it had, at least, if not still retains to this day. But yeah, it was kind of a bomb, which is unfortunate. It didn't really set Mike Myers back too far, because he followed up with Austin Powers 1, Austin Powers 2, Shrek, Austin Powers 3, made a fucking $1 billion. He's good to go. But I wish it would have gotten more play. I wish I would have seen it sooner. Like I said, lots to unpack in that movie. My roommate actually called the twist Fleetwood Brown. Shout out. Pretty quickly into the movie too. He was like, I'm not going to say the twist in case you haven't seen it. Spoilers for this 30-year-old movie, of course. But go check out So I Married an Axe Murderer and laugh at what the 90s used to be.
It is, honestly, watching that movie, it's kind of like Empire Records. It is just 90s in your face.
Yeah, so fucking 90s. The way they dress, the jokes, just the style of humor, the way it's shot. The soundtrack, obviously, is just screaming early 90s right in your face.
Lorne
Two
Michaels,
Princes,
an executive producer.
I actually have no idea. You should look that up while I vamp a little bit. Nice. Yes, let's get back to that. But yeah, I also have a current-ish stand-up special to shout out. It is free on YouTube. This guy, Geoffrey Asmus, Asmus. I saw a hilarious bit of his that actually I think got pulled off Reddit. My friend shared it with me, and then I shared it around to a couple of my friends. But he has a great abortion bit, and that got yanked off Reddit, unfortunately. But it's still in the YouTube special, and I suggest you check out "The Only Funny White Man" by Geoffrey Asmus, or Osmus, I believe it's pronounced, and it's a Jeffrey with a G. But yeah, the only funny white man, Geoffrey Asmus, hilarious special. This guy's really, really good. He kind of reminds me of Sam Morrill in a way, and he looks like my friend Clifford, so that's fun.
Yep. No, Lorne Michaels wasn't involved in this. I just felt like he was, just because it's very much Saturday Night Live humor throughout the movie. We're jumping back to So I Married an Axe Murderer. Sorry.
Yes,
yeah.
no worries. Yeah, no, yeah. To wrap up the bow on that, yeah, I wonder if that's more Mike Myers' humor coming through that we're just used to on Saturday Night Live. But it's a good call. It does kind of have that SNL movie vibe. Doesn't feel like dissimilar to, like, I don't know, Ned at the Roxbury or something, right?
Exactly. That's exactly it. Or Superstar or something. One of those.
Yeah.
Right? Like the '90s movies of those. Even like Coneheads, which is one of my favorite movies as a kid.
Boris core 90s core movie. So I Married an Axe Murderer, for sure.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, so dude, I'm gonna check out that special. Like, I started it and then I just got so busy, overwhelmed with just like minor stuff. I've been off the past couple days, and it's just like catching up on, like, errands and stuff like that. And I had like a nasty headache yesterday, but feeling great. So yeah, I'm gonna check that. I'm gonna check that special out.
Please do. Yeah, man. Dude is fucking hilarious. Geoffrey Asmus. That is, I try to throw a stand-up recommendation at you every week now. And that is definitely my recommend of the week. The Only Funny White Man on YouTube.com.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to watching some comedy a little later. I'm gonna go watch. She's made a pretty. I don't want to say big name, but she's making a name of herself, especially on social media. Social media has done wonders for comedians, right? And I'm gonna go watch Brittany Schmidt. She interesting. Like, her style is not for everyone. She's very raw. She's very core. Like, she's very her humor is very dark. She doesn't shy away from a lot of stuff.
Yeah, no, I hadn't heard of her until you said that you were going to see her. And yeah, I checked out her Instagram. She has a couple hilarious bits, instantly followed her. I am becoming a fan. So yes, enjoy that show tonight, homie. You're going to Comedy Bar Danforth?
Comedy Bar Danforth. I've never been to that one. It's actually further than I thought. Man, it's very far. Like, it's basically by Main Street Station. It's basically Dawes and Danforth.
Yeah, no, it's way out there, especially like compared to the other Comedy Bar, which we're very close to. We live like a stone's throw away from. But yeah, no, she's really funny. Brittany Schmidt is her name, right?
Brittany Schmidt. Yep, correcto. Yep. Also helps that she's fucking hot.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt.
I'm like, is this thing on?
I was taking a drink and I almost spit taked all over my laptop, ruining it forever. Ruining it even more.
Yeah, that's awesome. But yeah. That certainly will make tonight a little easier to digest.
All right. So quick 45 on what's hard to digest about tonight. Now let's move on to the sportses. There's a World Series happening tonight.
Yep. The teams, well, how many losses did they combine for in 2021? 113 losses or something like that? Something. I don't know. Something ridiculous. But who would have thought that, in April, we would have seen the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Texas Rangers in the World Series. Even just a few weeks ago, we were talking about the Rangers kind of slipping up, right? But it just goes to show you, especially in baseball, streaks are a hell of a thing. Teams warming up are a hell of a thing, and having good managers is a hell of a thing.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Texas is less surprising. Texas, like you said, good manager there, Bruce Bochy, managing the Texas Rangers, and they have a really good roster. I mean, they're stacked with good players, good pitchers. I thought Texas was going to make the playoffs or at least come close. Like, definitely am more surprised by Arizona, but it is not the marquee matchup that Major League Baseball might want. Having said that, I think it's going to be some exciting baseball. I'll definitely be checking out a couple games. But yeah, it's an interesting World Series. Definitely not Yankees versus Dodgers, but I don't know. I'm cheering for Texas at this point. I
At
feel
this
like
point, yeah, same.
the Rangers, the Arizona, hopefully they're a building young team. Obviously, this is huge for them, but I think there's a chance that they could be back. They really have a deep young roster.
They do.
With Texas, yeah, like to see
They
that.
do. Shall we bring up the Blue Jays fact or just completely ignore that this week?
Now let's let it sit for a week or two. Fuck it.
Yeah, let's see how this World Series goes. But yeah, if like any other team,
No.
heads would have been rolling by now.
True, absolutely. Yeah, okay, so we kind of did touch on it. So just in case you're confused about what we're talking about, there are 3 very prominent players, at least in this World Series, who were Toronto Blue Jays an hour and a half ago. 2 on the Arizona Diamondbacks. There was a really bad trade that the Jays made. They traded Lourdes Gurriel Jr. and awesome young catching prospect Gabriel Moreno to the Arizona Diamondbacks in exchange for Dalton Varsho, who is like good player, short king Boris, but unfortunately isn't quite as good as either of those guys, let alone both of them combined. And then Marcus Semien, who was on the Jays for like an hour and a half, signed in Texas. That wasn't a trade that we did. That was just a terrible idea. But at the same time, we lost him. So lots of ex-Blue Jays in the World Series, kind of a bitter pill for Toronto baseball fans.
And when it comes to the catchers, like the Jays essentially made a decision between Alejandro Kirk and Moreno, right? And they put the money on Kirk because, well, he's Manoah's buddy. So we'll see how this all pans out.
Yeah, because Manoah might end up on the St. Louis Cardinals for all we know. I think they're going to give him another year and try to work it all out and get everyone back on the same page. But this it might be some changes for the Blue Jays in 2025 and beyond. But I do feel like 2024 they're just going to round it back with everyone.
Yep. Baseball. So that's American baseball. Do you want to talk about some international baseball? Because there's a new league opening up.
Yeah, tell me about this, my friend, because I am completely in the dark on this league.
Cricket is the number 1 sport in a lot of places in the world, including the Middle East and South Asia, right? It's cricket or soccer. It's one of those two. So in Dubai, they are starting a new baseball league with some, billionaires and blah, 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 blah. There is one owner to this. This is very much an XFL-like feel, especially when you start seeing the logos and stuff. This honestly reminds me of the XFL. But because there is a lot of money in the Middle East right now, and I don't even want to get into the politics of stuff in terms of, how they're getting money and stuff. But let us talk about this new league called Baseball United. It is a league starting up in 2024. There is a showcase happening November 25th, 2024. That's in just 4 weeks. And this league has a few interesting players. Right now, there's only 4 teams: the Cobras, the Monarchs, the Falcons, and the Wolves. Now, they held their draft earlier this week. And my friend, do you want to see the list of some of the people who have been drafted? Okay, round 1.
I would love to. First of all, though, before we go on, is this the tournament from Dodgeball? What are these teams? That's amazing.
Right?
Please continue.
Just wait till you see the logo. I'll send you the website shortly. Just, again, to get your reaction, everyone, baseballunited.com. That's where you need to go. Don't go there just yet, Matt, because the draft selections are up there. So, number 1, round 1, for the Cobras, Karan Patel. A lot of people probably don't know him, but he was a major leaguer. He was drafted a few years ago, blah, 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 blah. Whatever. Number 3, from the Wolves. Have you ever heard of a player called Didi Gregorius?
Yes, I remember. I am familiar with the works of Didi Gregorius. He was supposed to be the next Derek Jeter once upon a time.
Yep, Didi Gregorius. Round 1, overall selection, number 3, to the Wolves, Didi Gregorius.
I love it. I love where we're at. We're getting warmer, getting hotter.
All right. The Falcons, who, by the way, their logo looks exactly like the Philadelphia Eagles. Number 4, the Falcons selected Pablo Sandoval.
Oh, the Kung Fu Panda. I love it. I love to see it.
Yep. All right. Number 6 overall, the Wolves, playing with Didi Gregorius, Robinson Cano.
Oh my God, what an infield. The greatest infield in the history of 2011. Let's go.
Dude, and that's not all. That is not all. The 16th overall pick by the Monarchs, Roberto Colon.
Oh, nice. Is he gonna actually? Are these people playing? Is this
Yes,
gonna be
they're
an actual
playing
thing?
in this league.
How old is Bartolo now? Like
50.
45? Oh my
50.
God, that's amazing, Bartolo. Yep. I trust him more than Gregorius at this point, I think.
Yeah. So, a part of the executive team. Here is part of the executive team: Mariano Rivera, Barry Larkin, Adrian Beltre, and Felix Hernandez.
So, oh my God. So when you say executive, you mean like of the league?
Of the league.
Like right,
yeah.
like CEO shit?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, not CEO, but like they're, I don't know what their titles are.
Board of
but
directors, whatever.
The elite of baseball. Mariano
of
Rivera,
baseball,
Barry Larkin, Adrian Beltre, Felix Hernandez. Also, owners Elvis Andrus and Ryan Howard.
Oh, interesting. That's cool. Elvis Andrews, Ryan Howard. He was sick for like 3 seasons there. Yeah, baseball in Abu Dhabi, eh? Interesting.
Yep. So that's it. That is what is happening right now in Dubai. My God, it is absolutely insane. So Matt, what do you think of all this? How crazy is this?
Yeah, is this like live baseball tour?
That's basically what it feels like. All right, so let me bring this bad boy up. Boom, show on stream. So look at that. Look at those owners. Look at that exec team, all happy and shit. Look at that motherfucker right there. Oh, look at them. Look at them. So yeah, dude, this is crazy. So let me show you the teams. Boom. Look at those logos. Look at those beautiful logos. The Cobras looks like Cobra Kai. The Monarchs reminds me of like a weird cross between the Kings and the Royals. The Falcons is literally the Eagles. Even has the colors. So it's like really like my mind is like melting seeing this Falcons logo. And the Wolves, I don't even know. It just looks like, as if the Wolf Pack were like 2023.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, definitely. If you're listening to this, go to baseballunited.com, I assume it is. Check out the teams. The Kings or the Monarchs, sorry, if you go up. They that's hilarious. It looks like a rum brand or something.
Right?
Yeah, I don't know if this league will succeed too much. We didn't see much interest for the Live Golf Tour, but maybe it'll merge with Major League Baseball. Who knows?
I doubt that, my friend. Yeah. What a crazy world, huh? I readily saw this on TikTok. Thank you, TikTok and social media. This is wild. This is absolutely wild. But the names, it's crazy. It is crazy.
So funny. Some created team shit. Some MLB 2K5 level shit there.
This is like Tony Khan's wet dream when it comes to like a roster.
All the old greats.
Yep. But it's amazing that their showcase is essentially it's happening in the United Arab Emirates in Dubai, November 24th and the 25th. And it's going to be capped by their All-Star Showcase, the East versus the West. However, I don't know how they're splitting this up, but sure.
Yeah, no, it remains to be seen. What is it, 4 weeks you said? November they're going to do a showcase?
November 24th and 5th.
All right, so we're going to have no baseball for 3 weeks, and then we're going to have the Abu Dhabi League coming up.
Yep. So there is what's this?
United Arab Emirates League. Sorry, I keep saying Abu Dhabi. That's the wrong country.
Fan Fest. Let's see how. Okay, just for and all of the diamonds, like the home fields, they are essentially retrofitted cricket stadiums.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Also, yeah, I'm an idiot. Abu Dhabi is the capital of the United Arab Emirates. Anyway, Boris, let us move on from this thing that neither of us have any idea what the fuck it is.
Hold on,
But
okay,
it
so
sounds intriguing.
The Diamond Club, which is basically behind home plate, is going to cost you $55.
That's
Very reasonable prices here. Very reasonable. They don't have any outfield seating, but it goes from $13, like on the sides, like the first base and third base side, to 58, which is right behind the catcher. So, not bad pricing. I was a little nervous about the pricing.
Yeah, no, definitely. But that I mean, it is fair. They got to draw teams in. They got to draw fans in. They got to get people interested in this league. So makes sense to start a little cheaper. Hopefully, hook them. It's classic business technique. But yeah, man, it's very, very interesting. I wonder if they're going to end up stealing baseball talent from Major League Baseball. I wonder if they're going to grow to that level.
I bet you, we're going to see one or two big guys sign over when their contracts are up. The money, I think, is just going to be too good to say no. And I'm sure that this league will steal a player or two. I think it's natural, but we'll see what happens. This isn't necessarily like Saudi money also, right? Like they're not throwing billions of dollars to these players.
True. Excellent point. Yeah. Well, yeah, yes, we'll see. But it wouldn't surprise me if, like, you know what I mean, either this is a template or if Saudi money got involved if this started working halfway
Exactly.
decently.
That's exactly it. So we'll see what happens. Anyways, that is our Baseball United chat. The official
Great
podcast
stuff
for Baseball United. Hoo-ha!
Taking that UAE bag. I love it, Boris. Give me that Dubai bag.
Give it to us. We've got zero morals. Hoo-ha!
I want to clarify that I am not taking any Saudi bags of any.
Oh, same here.
Now.
Let's put that out there ASAP. Let's chat some NFL before we just say something we shouldn't.
Oh, we're way past that, my friend. But yes, let us talk some National Football League. Dolphins lost to the Eagles last week. Dang.
I don't know. Eagles, I don't get them. Dolphins are interesting. Have they beaten a team over 500 yet? I guess
that's the problem.
Bills.
True. Yeah, but they've played some good teams and kind of got smashed by the really good teams that they've played this year. So it's not encouraging, but the year is young. The Dolphins can figure it out.
Yep, exactly. All right, so last night we saw the Thursday nighter in Buffalo as the Bills took on the Buccaneers. Kind of boring game from what I saw, but the Bills came back after a big L last week, and they beat the Buccaneers 24-18 in what I like to call it the Fitz Bowl.
Yes, nice. I love it. Well, I guess there's like 10 different teams that you play for.
Yeah, half the league would be the Fitz Bowl.
Yeah, so many different options for the Fitz Bowl. But yes, a boring Thursday nighter. Thursday nighters are sometimes
again
not the best.
Fucking Amazon spending how much for these games?
Poor Jeff Bezos. But some good games this year or this week. Definitely.
Matt, I'm pretty sure he's crying into his $100 bills right now.
Yeah, he doesn't give a shit. He's doing pretty well, taking over the planet. But yes, some good games this week. The always fun Battle of New York / New Jersey, Jets versus Giants. Some divisional matchups up and down the slate here. Patriots, Dolphins is an interesting divisional matchup. Vikings, Packers, loser leaves town match, perhaps. What's standing out to you this week in the football?
I'm telling you, I picked the Eagles, but something tells me the Commanders are going to win this game.
It might be the one where the Commanders are a weird team. Just when you think you got them figured out, they'll lose by like 20 to Chicago, or they'll actually beat a really good team or like a better team than you think. I'm interested in Texans versus Panthers. That could be number 1 pick versus number 2 pick, and the number 2 pick is currently wildly outplaying the number 1 pick. That could be an interesting game.
An interesting game for me is the 49ers Bengals, for the simple fact that the 49ers just they don't give a shit right now. It's like they don't want to win right now.
No, I think it's more that they're banged up, and yeah, maybe don't give a shit is a
No.
little strong, but I know what you're saying, man. I know what you're saying. It's just like the foot might be off the gas pedal just a little bit at this moment in the season.
Yep. The Monday nighter is the Lions and the Raiders. I don't know why that game intrigues me.
No, the Raiders are kind of shit, but the Lions are a very exciting team. There could be a lot of points scored in that game. Could be a fun one.
And then Taylor Swift game of the week is the Chiefs Broncos, which again, right? Like the Chiefs should just absolutely just ram them. But the Broncos are just a very weird team again.
I feel like the Broncos are a team that nobody is like taking it easy on. No one is taking the foot off the gas pedal against the Broncos because they're kind of hateable. Russell Wilson is kind of like, been annoying for 10 years. And the coach, Sean Payton, has been talking a big game, talking a lot of that shit. So I think people want to see him fail. So it wouldn't surprise me if the Chiefs fucking raffle-coptered the Broncos.
Yep, agreed. Agreed. So we'll see exactly what's going on with the NFL. Yeah, man. Interesting. The NFL's been very interesting this year. Like, no team looks like a sure thing, and some teams look absolutely atrocious, but no one's like embarrassing out there.
I agree. I do think the 49ers are still the best team when fully healthy. It's just that football is an absolute war of attrition, and you never know who's going to be healthy at the end. But yeah, I still like Philly. I still like the 49ers. Who is the single worst team in the league? Are the Colts trying anymore? The Colts seem like they're still trying.
I think so. Let's look at the AFC East. The Patriots are 2-5. AFC West, Broncos are 2-5. What do we got here? The AFC North, Bengals are 3-3. AFC South, the Titans are 2-4. In the NFC, the Giants are 2-5. Cardinals are 1-6. Bears are 2-5. Panthers are 0-6. I guess the Panthers are the most atrocious looking team.
That's pretty crazy. Yeah, it's either the Cardinals or the Panthers by record right now. And the Panthers want to win because they traded their pick to Chicago. The Panthers were good last year. I thought they were going to be better than this. I kind of thought I had them in the playoffs, honestly, but that was a total dart throw. I was just like, well, someone's got to make the playoffs in the NFC. And the Panthers were close last year. They were pretty solid. They got this new quarterback. They're betting the farm on their team. And boy, they're coming up empty right now. 0-6. They look pretty shitty.
Yep. 112 points for, 186 points against. Yeah, they're looking really bad right now. They could have used a Baker Mayfield.
Crazy. What a world we're living in.
Right? Like, it's Baker Mayfield is turning into quite the journeyman, and I kind of feel bad for him. But that seems to be like, if you're not a stud quarterback, I think the quarterback position is turning into a journeyman position.
Yeah, there's like 10 like studs, like 5 to 10 like actual real bona fide starters
players, right?
Yes, and agreed 100%. And other than that, it is iffy week to week. Well, the Bears have this new kid who might fuck around and take Justin Fields' job. The son of the arm wrestling champion of the world, Tyson Bagent. Right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's crazy, man. But like,
he's looking pretty good.
Yeah. Also, Patriots fans, tranquilo. You guys beat up Bills team. Tranquilo. Like, calm down, Patriots fans.
It's a win. A win is a win is a win. But yeah, I would still rank the Patriots near the bottom of the AFC. The Titans are going to be bad, I think, going forward too. I think the Titans might trade old Derrick Henry there and kind of lean into a little bit of a tank.
Yep. Man. Yeah, like I say, but this is interesting. Like, yeah, this year is very weird and wild in the NFL. Like, there's no team that like absolutely stands out. There's no undefeated teams left. There's a couple of, X and 1 teams, but yeah, man. The 49ers and like, look at this. 49ers in the NFC West. They're 5-2. Seahawks are 4-2. Like, things can change so fast in every division almost.
100% agree. You know who might be the worst team in all of football right now? Like at this exact moment, even worse than the Panthers, the New York Giants. I don't like the Giants at all. They've only scored 85 points all year. I think Daniel Jones is one of the most overrated athletes in sports right now. I fucking dislike the Giants
They didn't
greatly
get like a
at this
huge
moment.
contract this offseason.
Fat contract, big fat ass contract. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Let me look up the exact terms.
Yeah, do that,
But
man.
yeah, the
Do that before we move on.
Giants are shit. Daniel Jones, a 4-year, $160 million extension with the Giants in March. Top 10 highly paid quarterback. He'll probably get cut.
Yeah. How much of that is guaranteed, do you think? Do we know?
No, I just closed it. I'm sure I can read it, but yeah,
No, it's all
it's
good.
I would assume like half of it at least. It's a fat ass contract. If it's not very much guaranteed money, they will cut him. I
Yeah.
bet.
That's exactly it. Oh man. All right, let's quickly jump to the NBA. Let's quickly talk about Giannis. I guess Milwaukee proved that they are in it to win it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Giannis. A little bit of an off game, like for him, maybe just in terms of from the free throw line down the stretch. He wasn't as clutch as you would like to see, but it doesn't matter because Damian Lillard is one of the most clutch players in the history of basketball. And this is why Milwaukee got Damian Lillard. Man, the Bucs are looking pretty tasty. I really like the combo of Lillard and Giannis together. I felt like Giannis was like, oh my God, finally I have somebody else on this team, with all due respect to Chris Middleton and the Lopez brothers, specifically Brooke. They've finally got another superstar on the Bucs, man.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, what is it? 3 years, 185 million.
Oh, for Giannis, yeah, it
Yeah.
was 3 years, 186 is the extension that Giannis just signed.
Crazy. The Bucks are in it to win it. Did we call them as champs this year? We did, right?
Yes, we did. Yeah,
Yeah. It's looking like it.
Yeah, the Bucks to beat the Nuggets is what we said. I'm going to stand by that 1 week into the season for sure. Raptors looked pretty good, beating the Timberwolves.
Yeah, they looked pretty good, man. You know what I liked about this Raptors game on whatever day it was, Wednesday? They weren't taking stupid shots at all times. They were running up the court a little better. Gary Trent Jr., OG, some of the legacy Raptors players, right? They were still playing a little stupid, but you saw more skill. You saw them running up the court. You saw them taking better shots, cleaner shots. They weren't just running and shooting, right? Like, that's the first thing that just popped to me about the Raptors game on Wednesday.
Yeah, it seemed like they definitely liked the coach. It seemed like they sprayed him full of ice water when the Raps won. Maybe they didn't like him, actually. Maybe that was more of a punishment than a celebration. But yeah, no, I agree with that. Dennis Schroeder's a pretty good point guard. He can definitely be a responsible adult on the floor. Fred VanVleet's a little more of a chucker, and he's now on the Houston Rockets. I agree with that assessment, homie.
You know which team looks horrible? This was the later game that I watched on Wednesday evening, and that was the Clippers versus the Portland Trailblazers. I feel sorry for all 10 of the Portland Trailblazer fans. Like, they are looking so bad. Clippers were just making them look ridiculous.
Clippers do have a lot of talent, but yeah, Portland's gunning for that number 1 pick. They've traded Dame Lillard. It's a rebuild in Portland for the Trailblazers.
Yeah, the Lakers look old. They look old and tired. What I've seen from the past 2 games. Yesterday they looked a little better, but man, they're just an old team, right? Like, it just this is the issue with just picking up people in the middle of their careers and not planning for the future.
Well, it's the issue with the NBA in a way,
Yeah.
is that when you're LeBron and you're Anthony Davis, and this is why they put the midseason tournament in to try to quell some of this. But when you're LeBron or Anthony Davis and you've been playing for so long and you don't even care until March, the only thing you can do right now is try not to get hurt. And for LeBron chase records and stuff, obviously you got to get into the playoffs. But it's such a long NBA season, and these guys have seen it and done it all. They're not proving anything, you know what I mean? So yeah, for the Lakers, the Lakers are the Greg Valentine, Boris, of the NBA season. They're not even going to get going until the 15-minute mark of the match, or in this case, the 45-game mark of the season.
Yeah, man. No, it's true, man. And I hope, like you said, the mid-season tournament, which starts like in a couple weeks, should quell some of that. There is something to play for in the middle of the season, which is great. But I think this is an issue that we're going to start seeing in a lot more leagues, where the regular season, like some players just won't give a shit. Baseball, not so much, right? Because the season is so long, and when you're in the middle of September, hovering at like 85 wins, and you're still not in a playoff spot, right? Like, it's crazy sometimes. Baseball, I think, has the most meaningful regular season. But, basketball, just because of, like, load management, which is a huge topic of discussion, and things like that, where the regular season just isn't mattering as much. Even in the NHL, right? Like, the NHL doesn't have this issue so much, but a team like the Leafs could easily change that, right? Like, where they kind of just coast through the regular season and put all their attention on the playoffs.
Absolutely. The NHL has less load management, I feel like, although we are seeing it more with rookies now. Anaheim is doing it with Leo Carlsson. They're telling him he's only playing 2 games a week. Even if Anaheim has 3 or 4 games on the schedule, Leo Carlsson is only allowed to get into 2 games a week. They're trying to ease him in to NHL action. And I think that's kind of smart for a European player who's not used maybe to the physicality or to the length of the NHL schedule. But yeah, I'm surprised that they're starting going back to the NBA now. I'm surprised they're starting the inaugural in-season tournament so quickly. I didn't realize it was, like you said, it's in like a week. I think exactly 1 week from today, November 3rd, or Friday, November 3rd. Why did I say February? Friday, November 3rd. It is the first game of this first ever in-season tournament.
Yeah. Interesting
Weird
concept. Let's see how everyone reacts to it, right? Even the fans,
Yeah,
see.
yeah, man. Well, I guess we're gonna have to preview this slightly next week on the BAM show.
Yep. We for sure will. Man. So that's where I'm at with sports. I think that's it for sports.
Cool. I'm with you, man. Yeah, it's we'll talk more about the World Series, and we'll talk about this NBA in-season tournament next week. Let's talk some wrestling now.
All right, let's quickly start with my weekly review of Ring of Honor. You ready for it? You ready for it?
Hit me.
It's shit. Honestly, just turn this into NXT. And you know what? I will say one thing. And I gave her flowers last week. I'm going to do it again this week. Someone build a statue. Build a statue, for Christ's sake. For Athena. Just do that. Erect that statue ASAP. Like, what she is doing for Ring of Honor is absolutely insane. Like, she is single-handedly carrying Ring of Honor on her back.
I absolutely agree. The little I've seen, she's like the main highlight of the show. She is the most valuable woman working for Tony Khan Promotions, if you want to call it that, like Jim Crockett Promotions. I think she should be a regular on Dynamite. It kind of does her a disservice to stick her under the paywall in Ring of Honor, although she is the only thing helping that program currently, so I do understand it.
Yep. Yeah, but like something needs to give at some point. We're not even gonna get to those things because we talk about that so much here. But like at some point, it just needs to become the NXT and the developmental. Like just agree it. Look, they're already removing pay-per-views from regular pay-per-view. They are gonna be only featured on Honor Club. Like at least Final Battle will be. So they're obviously seeing something, right?
Final Battle is supposed to be one of, if not the single biggest show of the year. To use the parlance, it is the WrestleMania in some ways of Ring of Honor. So it's weird that it's going there. But yeah, again, you're completely right. We've said it 1,000 times. Let's not do it again. But yes, it's weird that Tony Khan refuses to. He just looks at it as a demotion for Ring of Honor when Ring of Honor has always been the super indie where people develop. It is perfect to be the AEW version of NXT.
Yep. Let us talk about some Dynamite. You obviously went into Dynamite in great detail. Go ahead and listen to the 3D over on the network. Did a great job chatting all things Dynamite, my friend. But a couple of takeaways from the show. Ratings, not too good. 774 total, down 14.1%. This is what the lowest audience since June. I think it's the second lowest all year. It drew a 0.24 in the main demographic. Tony Khan, this is why you need to stay the fuck away from Twitter. Because when was the last time that Ric Flair, Edge, etc., drew under 1 million people?
Good dunk, sick dunk onto Tony Khan. I had to laugh at that one. That's a good line. Good on you, buddy. Yeah, this is true. Why I guess. Well, man, like Tony Khan was talking that shit about Vince McMahon's indiscretions, and then he brings Ric Flair onto his show. Like I did the whole thing about Ric Flair, and
you had a little. Sorry for cutting you off, but you had a couple days to think about this. Like, has your feelings changed at all? Because I think you're a little more kind of like. I don't know how to describe it. Anyways, how do you feel about it? I don't want to put words in your mouth.
No, absolutely. It's just that I've already come to terms with Ric Flair being in wrestling. I already I think it's gross. It's been gross for a long time. Like he's kind of but it's just like he is sadly he's so synonymous with professional wrestling, much more so than Hulk Hogan. I honestly think he's way more culturally significant
in rap videos being
exactly
called out in
right.
rap videos. No.
Exactly right. Do you see clips of Hulk Hogan on TikTok every single day? No, you don't. Do you see the ESPN 30 for 30 about Hulk Hogan? No, you don't. Like Ric Flair, like when we were kids, Hulk Hogan was the bigger star, but Hulk Hogan is very locked in his era. Don't get it twisted. Ric Flair's star power has far surpassed Hulk Hogan's, and a lot of people know Ric Flair as the GOAT wrestler. A lot of people, like hardcore wrestling fans, don't think Hulk Hogan was good at all at wrestling, which is incorrect. But also, like, Ric Flair's discretions have been a little less public. We don't have video or audio of Ric Flair saying the N-word to Teddy Long. We do have audio of Hulk Hogan saying horrible things about black people. We have that audio. We have heard it with our own ears. That's a big difference too. But yeah, no, the Ric Flair thing, like if you think it's grotesque, I agree. If you think that the Ric Flair shouldn't be in wrestling anymore, obviously I agree with that, but he just will be. To me, it's like you're gonna hear Michael Jackson if you listen to pop radio. If you go to the grocery store, probably gonna hear Chris Brown, R. Kelly. You're probably going to hear The Way You Make Me Feel. You're probably going to hear I Believe I Can Fly. Even if you go to the grocery store, you're going to hear pop music. These people are too ingrained. And that's where Ric Flair is with wrestling. He's too ingrained in this stuff. But the difference is pop music is ubiquitous. You hear it at the fucking grocery store. You don't see WrestleMania 8 at the grocery store. You can avoid professional wrestling. So my whole thing is, if you're truly disgusted with how Ric Flair is treated in the wrestling business, I think you have to stop watching wrestling. And honestly, seeing him come out on AEW, I'm conflicted because I'm a human being. This man is crying in the ring, getting a standing ovation. He's given me hours and hours and hours of entertainment. I feel good on a human level for another human being, while simultaneously feeling gross and feeling like I want to turn off the TV and feeling like I don't want to watch wrestling at all anymore, legitimately. Yeah. So it's very conflicting, the Ric Flair thing, man. It's a tough one. It's a really tough one.
Wrestling in general is very conflicting at times, right? Like there's certain things that wrestling has done in the past where I'm kind of like, why?
Yeah,
and,
dude.
and,
Yeah,
and it's
dude.
very easy for myself to just say, all right, well, I've had a good run watching wrestling, call it a day, right? But then there's, I don't know whether it's nostalgia, I don't know what it is, just my love for it, like, I don't know, but I just can't really do it, if that makes sense. Like, I'm so conflicted with wrestling, like, on so many levels. And it's kind of like you see with Ric Flair, right? Where you're like, it's two sides of the coin. It's so weird. It is so weird. I honestly think that, once that generation, once the generation of the hardcore partier, drinker, whatever wrestler moves on, I think that wrestling will be in a much different place. And we're kind of seeing that change right now with even like the Vince McMahons of the world not having the power that they used to.
Yep.
And it's maybe on their
Ex-
way out, right? Other
yeah.
people on their way out of this world, like, for lack of a better term. Like, once a certain generation is gone in some shape or form, whether it be limelight or life, I think that the wrestling world is going to be so different.
I hope so. It's a business built on a lie. I mean, like, legit. It's like back
Like,
in
and these are the people,
1871.
but also remember, like, some of these people are the people who carried on kayfabe, right? Like, this is the
Yeah.
last generation. It's basically what I'm saying is the last generation of kayfabe is the generation that's kind of like keeping wrestling to me, for lack of I don't know how to describe it. It's such a weird feeling that I get with wrestling, and honestly, like with the whole Ric Flair Sting stuff, like Ric Flair in particular is just kind of like, I don't know. It just, I felt so torn. I felt so torn, like a good old Natalie and Bruglia song.
What an absolute bop that to this day, absolute bop by Imbruglia. Yeah, it's just tough, man. The art form of professional wrestling is a beautiful, amazing thing. I truly think when it's done well, it's one of the best things on this planet, and I've loved it since I was a young child before I was in kindergarten. At the same time, the industry of professional wrestling is a fucking grotesque, terrible thing. And that's kind of the way it is, and it's tough to support the industry when you just love the art form sometimes.
Yeah, and I know, you know what, I for those who don't fully understand how we feel, think about Hollywood, right? I think Hollywood is a nice comparison to this, because the Hollywood side of Hollywood, man, there's some shit in Hollywood where you're just flabbergasted, right? But we still watch movies, we still watch what they produce, we still watch what they come out with, right? Like,
Yeah.
you can feel so conflicted with Hollywood, as I do sometimes, but I don't know. At the end of the day, it's just like, I don't want to say like I downplay stuff and I just say, oh, it's entertainment. I need entertainment. It's just so weird.
Yeah.
It's just so weird sometimes with these forms of entertainment.
Absolutely. And that's why we try to. And sometimes it's a bummer, man. Sometimes it's a bummer. When we go back and talk about Chris Benoit, I feel compelled to say, hey, this guy fucking murdered his wife and child. And he is a horrible human being who happened to be really good at professional wrestling in the ring. And I do think it's important to make those distinctions all the time. But it becomes a bummer, so you don't want to do it too much, and it becomes tough, and then you get into a spiral of, why am I even listening to this? Why am I even watching this? Why am I even doing this at all? And yeah, no, I don't know, but you just got to support the good people in wrestling, and like, love the art form, not necessarily the industry. And it just goes back to, like you said, the Hollywood thing, like Harvey Weinstein, a horrible human being who will rot in hell. Does that mean that we can never watch Good
Dogma.
Will Hunting again? Dogma? Maybe it does. Maybe it does, man. Honestly, maybe it does mean that we shouldn't watch those things anymore.
And
Straight up.
I'm not gonna judge you if you don't or do watch it. Like, I think it's one of those things where we all understand the reality of it, but I understand how hard it could be to turn around and just not watch a Dogma or a Good Will Hunting, right? Like,
Yeah, exactly, man.
it's
And
so,
that's
I'm
like,
not gonna judge anyone on their decision of Ric Flair and AEW, and whether they decide to keep viewing or whatever, what have you. But that is that. So yeah, man, wrestling is so freaking weird sometimes. But enough of that. We're gonna start going around in circles. Ratings. again, they were up to a head-to-head with the NBA. Was there a baseball game on Wednesday, or was that Tuesday?
No.
That was Tuesday,
Yeah,
right?
I believe Tuesday was Game 7. Yeah, Wednesday,
I
Thursday,
love.
nothing, and there is a baseball game today. I think the basketball really hurt. Obviously it did, and the show itself is hurting. It like AEW. It's there needs to be more episodic storytelling, whatever. But there are some positives to take from the rating. MJF's numbers still did really well, and it seems like when MJF was done, a lot of the fans, 200,000 fans, were like, "Ah, fuck it, I'm done too."
Yep, that's exactly it. That was my next point. The other thing that I wanted to bring up is Okada. Us wrestling geeks we splooge of the fact that Okada is on regular TV having just a banger of a match. But, and I will always say this, and I get criticized for saying this, but you have to think of the non-wrestling geek. Yes, they do exist, right? I don't understand why AEW just doesn't create a fucking video telling us why us wrestling nerds splooge for Okada. It's not like they don't have access to the tape library. It's not like they can't create a 5-minute documentary of Omega versus Okada or something like that. I just don't understand why they just don't try a little harder to get the average fan watching.
100,000,000,000% agree, man. It's just it feels like no care is taken. It's just a matter of throwing a video on YouTube, throwing a video on Rampage and Collision, telling us why it's such a huge deal to the hardcores, to wrestling in general, that this man is here in America.
Having Okada is like this. I akin this to like when WWE used to throw like, what was it, Royal Rumble 95 in the Alamo Dome. Like, the average person didn't give a shit about half of those AAA stars, right?
Exactly. Yes. 97. Yes.
97. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, sorry. You know, like it's that same feeling, right? And I understand because at the time I didn't really know some of those people in 97. So like I just don't understand. But I just don't freaking get it, man. It's, this is Boris's take. You might as well throw in Taka Michinoku because he's going to get a bigger rating than Okada for Dynamite. Boom.
Because
people
more
know him.
people have. Yeah, exactly right, man. And that is not, it's not like a racist thing. It's not saying never book Okada. It's saying you need to educate the fans as to why it matters that Okada is here. And they don't do that very, very crucial step. And that's why, like, to me, who is a hardcore wrestling fan, we just did the whole thing. Like, I've been watching it since I was 3 years old. I love seeing Okada there. I know, but I also know that nobody else really knows. Do you know what I mean? Like, Tony Khan can't treat the audience like they're all Tony Khan. Tony Khan is a wrestling historian. He knows a lot about this shit. He really does have a wealth of knowledge about wrestling, but he needs to bring people up to speed. He needs to bring people up to his level of wrestling knowledge by telling us what the fuck is going on.
And that's something that WWE does so well. Like, it's these things that annoy us wrestling geeks that WWE does. Like, constantly showing the same recap videos and stuff like that. You know why they do it? They don't do it for us. They do it for the average Joe to tell you what is important. What are the takeaways from the last segment that you watched so that you remember those takeaways for the long-term storytelling.
Jade Cargill has yet to throw an arm drag in WWE. She has been on SmackDown. She has been on Raw. She has been on NXT. Every time she shows up, the crowd goes mental, and she is treated like a big deal. The announcers go, "Oh my God, that's Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill is coming to WWE soon. Look at her. Look at the size of her. Beautiful, strong, powerful woman. She is going to take over the women's division." They've been telling us that for a month. And she's no Kazuchika Okada. God bless Jade Cargill. She hasn't achieved 1/10 of what Okada has. She has not had a single match that is within 2.5 stars of Okada's worst match this year. You know what I'm saying? Like, the fact that Jade Cargill is a bigger deal right now than Kazuchika Okada is crazy. It's kind of crazy. In North America, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to throw that bad boy in there.
Thank you.
Very quick.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying that. Yes.
You brought it up. Let's talk about NXT a little bit, my friend. We quickly chatted about it offline on the Messenger. Man, NXT is so hot right now. It is so freaking hot. Of course, now that we don't have to watch it, it's like
Yeah. I was just gonna
just as
say,
good,
I
if
actually
not
saw
better.
much better, I think, right now than it was when we were doing the podcast, especially 2.0. Jesus, Lord, no mercy. But no, man, I miss doing NXT talk with you, brother. I would go back to that in a heartbeat. And man, it's just like it's a really good product right now. We have Becky Lynch putting over Lyra Valkyria, new women's champion. It's exciting. They do good character work. Everyone has a clear, like most people have a clear role and character that develops and changes, and they interact with other, for professional wrestling, well thought out characters. They're still very cheesy because it's professional wrestling, but yeah, NXT is doing an excellent job, man. The in ring is pretty good. They bring along new stars while being an entertaining product. Lots of old people in the mix. Lots of main roster people in the mix. I love NXT.
And this past week was an excellent episode of NXT. But man, my biggest takeaway was that this was a women's show for the most part. Outside of one or two matches, there were 4 or 5 women's matches. Even the 2 breakout matches, which kind of sucked that the 2 Toronto girls lost. But NXT was great. And going back to what we were talking about, right? Like, the yin and yang of presentation, Brian Pillman Jr., Lexus King, right?
There you go.
Another example.
Yeah, another example. And he's not going to have quite the career that Jade Cargill will, I don't think. But yes, no, he's arguably a bigger deal now after 1 week in NXT than he ever was in multiple 3-4 years of AEW.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, who would have thought that, like, the
man.
biggest takeaway from that, like, little group was Julia Hart, right? Like,
oh, true. That's a good call. Yeah, there was an outside chance at that, maybe, but yeah, that's a very good call, my friend. Definitely, I didn't see it coming.
No, that's for sure. But yeah, no, like Lexus King just looked phenomenal. Love the throne, the entrance. So good, man. NXT is in such a good place right now. Halloween Havoc Night 1 was fan-freaking-tastic. And the ongoing who beat up Trick Williams is just such an intriguing story. And they even threw Wesley's name out there. I think it was Braun Breaker that threw it out at one point.
I like that. I think that could easily be who it actually is. I like the whole Carmelo Hayes thing where all the characters on NXT are accusing him of turning on his partner. That makes me think that obviously it won't be, because why even do it?
You know
it's
what?
Like
what if it just was like that, like the swerve of the swerve, right? Like,
yeah, I like it. The reverse red herring. It's just a herring. It's just the big old fish they're just telling you about. But that's a really good call. I bet it's Wes Lee who attacked Trick Williams.
Yeah. Such good story, man. Yeah, NXT is in such a good place right now. Such a good place. And I'm watching it live. Like, again, I've talked on the main show especially with Chris Van Vliet about this, and it's, you know what my gauge of interest is in wrestling, how much of the show I watch live. AEW, honestly, I watch when I have to. I don't watch live too much anymore unless something really cool is happening. Like, I'm covering it, which I do Dynamite most weeks, but even then I start much later and I fast forward through a lot. Collision, I'll for sure watch live for one match with the MJF Omega match, but that's my gauge on how important a wrestling show is. Like, my personal gauge is Boris watching this show live? It could be your gauge too. Absolutely. Is Boris watching this live? How important is wrestling?
Love it. Absolutely. Yeah. The only one I watch live right now, weekly, no matter what, is Dynamite. And it used to be I was watching it weekly all the time anyway. But now I feel like I wouldn't be watching Dynamite live every week were I not doing the podcast about it. I would still watch Dynamite every week, but I think I would get to it on like Thursday or Friday evening or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it would sit on the DVR for a couple days. And if I had to pick one show in all of wrestling right now to watch weekly, it would certainly be NWA Power. No, I'm kidding. It would be NXT for sure.
Might be NWA Power in a few weeks. Go NWA! Sunday night's main event. Huge supporter of NWA.
Always has been. Always will
don't
be.
Don't listen to the back catalog, NWA. Don't worry.
No, we don't even have a back catalog. This podcast launched today.
Oh man,
Boris.
Tyrus Hall of Famer. Woo-ha.
Have I ever told you like the Funkasaurus? No, NWA has had some stumbles, but it could be a new era. It could be a new era for the National Wrestling Alliance.
And I should clarify why we're making these jokes. So I'm going to be having a lot more NWA stars on the main show available to me for interviews. So it's the whole, go NWA.
Colby Carino.
Here's the thing.
Colby Carino. Sorry. Colby's back in NWA. He was the first guest we had on this show, Boris, friend of the program, Colby Carino. I hope he wins the NWA world title soon.
I just hope he goes to NXT sooner rather than later. But here's the thing about NWA, right? The reason why, and like 100%, I'm going to put this out there, like, and I'm not kissing ass. The reality is NWA right now is in a new era. They are turning the page. They, as they go to the CW network, wherever they end up, right? Like, this is their opportunity now. And I'm going to give them a second chance wholeheartedly. And this was my decision, like, even before I reached out to them and blah, 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 right? Like, I just feel like now with Tyrus not being champion, I want to give them the opportunity. And Matt, I'm going to give them the opportunity this Saturday as they hold a pay-per-view this Saturday. I don't even know how to pronounce this freaking pay-per-view name. Look it up. How do you pronounce this, my friend? Mr. ESL, Mr. International ESL here. I have no idea how to pronounce that.
It's like the old like Halloween festival. It's like Samhain, Samhain. I actually don't know how to pronounce that word because I have never heard a human being say it.
Like, I don't know.
I think it's
yeah. So
anyway. It's spelled like Samhain. Shavna? Is it pronounced Shavna? Is that how you're supposed to? Yeah.
NWA,
tell us, Billy Corgan, come on the show and give us an hour long, a tight 45 about how to pronounce your fucking pay-per-view, please and thank you.
and that just reminded me. That is a total Billy Corgan name.
It is Corgan core, Boris, you might say. I think it's Shavna, not Samhain. I believe it is NWA Shavna, if I am not mistaken.
People yelling at us right now, telling us, you fucking morons, this is how you pronounce it.
Oh, we're going to get like some kind of pagan curse put upon us, Boris. Oh, no. Jesus Christ. The walls are going to start bleeding.
I feel like I'm in Groundhog Day, so no curse can be worse than my Groundhog Day.
The curse of Corgan, though? The witchiest woman of all time? Billy Corgan? Oh, my God.
Oh, no. So, yeah. So, I'm going to watch the pay-per-view. Matt, do you have the card up? Really quick. Just really quick. Throw out the card. What stands out to you in the card? And
let me load it up right now. And NWA Shavna. October 28th, 2023. Quickly go through this thing. Matt Cardona versus to be announced. No, I'm just kidding. Anytime you see Colby Carino on the card, he is my favorite wrestler in NWA. So definitely thinking him. Colby Carino wrestling Joe Alonzo. He is the junior heavyweight champion. Colby Carino is. He is defending that title. The main event on this show is EC3, the NWA world champion, versus Tom Latimer. I don't know what's standing out to you.
The main event, honestly, I'm the EC3. He's a little more tranquilo. He's a little more like, he's not so crazy as he was like a year ago. And I'm a huge Tom Latimer fan, to be honest. And obviously, like,
Tom Latimer,
Colby, our boy Colby. What's the women's title?
The women's championship match is Kenzie Page, your NWA World Women's Champion, versus Ruthie J. I am not familiar with the works of Ruthie J, and she does not have a Wikipedia, but we will learn more about Ruthie J on NWA Shavna, October 28th. You know what match, actually, looking at this card, you know what match I'm actually kind of pumped for? Chris Adonis, the former Chris Masters, in something called a Burning Lake Brawl versus the Thrillbilly, Silas Mason. I like the Thrillbilly.
I do too. Man. So the NWA tomorrow, October 28th, NWA Shamalalalala.
Yeah, dog. Let's get some. Yeah, there's lots of pay-per-views coming up. Obviously, tomorrow is this Shavna pay-per-view. Then next week, Saturday, November 4th, WWE Crown Jewel. November 18th, the AEW Full Gear. November 25th, the WWE Survivor Series. Busy times ahead.
Between Full Gear and Survivor Series, I'm telling you right now, 10 minutes of my life might be spent sober.
Oh, that's birthday week?
Yeah,
birthday
week. Birthday is the 24th, the Friday, the day before Survivor Series. So that's going to be a hell of an after party if I'm the one who does it, because I don't think I should. I'll do Full Gear for sure. That's funny. But
nice.
Full Gear, man. Full Gear. Whew.
You could kick off the sobriety after Full Gear and pick it back up when you start the Survivor Series portion. Drunk as hell. It'll be great.
Exactly. I only did one after party, just completely loaded, and that was the one Extreme Rules.
Right after the Blue Jays choked the biggest collapse in the history of professional baseball.
Yep. Yeah, but it took me so long to get home that I honestly sobered up so much. But yeah, I think I was hungover more than drunk at that point.
That's good. Well, you're a professional, of course.
Exactly. Oh, what a day. What a day, man. So they had tons of wrestling. November's going to be a really busy month. And then, let's just quickly talk about some Impact Wrestling. Let's talk about Bound for Glory. Excellent pay-per-view. I've seen threads on the SNME board, man. A lot of people loved it. Some people calling it top X of the year.
Yeah. If you're so inclined to care about star ratings, Speedball Mike Bailey versus Will Ospreay, the highest rated match in TNA history, the first 5-boy in a long time, I think, since the triple threat match in 2005, Samoa Joe versus Chris Daniels versus AJ Styles. And it's the first ever TNA match to get over 5 stars because Dave Meltzer broke his scale. We love you, Dave, friend of Sunday Night's Main Event. But yeah, man, Impact Wrestling was looking pretty good until they decided to go back to TNA. Old habits die hard. Dude, I understand. Honestly, I think it's a terrible idea.
I think you've been like the most negative about it. Why don't you like it? I know what you're gonna say, but I just wanted to say, because you're going to bring up some great points. I kind of touched on these points with Chris Van Vliet last week. Man, he's pumped for this. Like, you listen to the show, man. He is like, I never realized how big of a TNA fan he was.
Same. And that's the thing. There are a lot of TNA fans coming out of the woodwork right now, but it's just like, it's a subset of a subset of a subset of a subculture of a subset. You know what I mean? The thing is, to the average ear, to the average human being on the street, to the average human being just on social media, you hear TNA wrestling and you think, what the fuck is that weird fetish shit? Is that some like Bill Apter mag apartment wrestling shit? TNA stands for tits and ass, Boris. That's what it has stood for. Yes. It might surprise you to know that's what it has stood for decades, years and years, generations of human beings hear TNA and think tits and ass. And it makes the company seem low rent, period. It just does. And while there is wrestling fans nostalgic for this thing because it's the age of the reboot, people like things that they recognize. TNA was never really great anyway. And I feel like this, a big reason why it didn't break through to even close to the level where AEW is right now is because the name set it back from the average human being giving it a chance. I remember buying TNA pay-per-views and like back in the weekly show days, and my mom going, "What the fuck is this smut that you're watching?" No, it's actual wrestling. It's just a cheesy, dumb Vince Russo name. I think this is a terrible idea in 2023. It's borderline misogynist. It's just fucking dumb. It's just dumb, for lack of a better term. I don't think this makes any sense.
I don't know. I agree with you, but I go back to what we've been talking about earlier. I don't think enough people care. Right?
That's fair.
That's the thing. I just don't think enough people care. But like a part of this whole TNA relaunch, and this is the part that I want to focus on, is, and they've been promising this, and now I know what certain people who were talking to me meant from TNA, from SNME, when they said that at Slammiversary there was going to be big changes. Because then I put two and two together and realized, oh, you guys wanted to announce this at Slammiversary, but for XYZ reasons, they didn't, and they waited until Bound for Glory to announce this. One of the big things that they talked about, and one of the major takeaways, especially in Toronto, was just the production, the lights, the arenas that they're in. Matt, this is where they will be for Hard to Kill.
Oh, nice. I like it. Yeah. The what is that? The Pearl Convention Center?
Yep. The Pearl, what is it called? Palms Casino Resort in Las Vegas.
Yeah, it's a theater. Theater wrestling is interesting. It's a cool concept.
Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah, man, like this is the thing. Yeah, I feel like wrestling fans don't care because after 20 years, we've become accustomed to TNA wrestling. It just hits our ear different than it does a normal person. I feel like the way to gauge it is to see in 5 years how much this thing grows. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe like people aren't going to find it to be low rent and silly. But yeah, I just think you're restricting yourself right off the bat. People are going to be less apt to give this awesome promotion a chance. Like TNA Impact has really grown a lot. It's really done a lot of repair to its reputation over the past few years. And I'm just worried that a lot of that is we're going to be going in the opposite direction.
Maybe, but at the same time, we live in a weird world right now, right? Where that might turn some heads and say, what's this TNA? I like this TNA thing, right? Like we live in such a weird times right now. And I just don't know. But we'll see, man. You know what? The power to them. Hopefully it goes well. TNA Wrestling, Hard to Kill, January 13th, Palms Casino Resort. Man, Ronda Rousey made an appearance at Lucha Vavoom yesterday.
Yeah, saw that. Possibly creeping her way back into the wrestling business. I thought Ronda was underrated, man. I thought she got way too much hate.
The fans just were too much with her.
Yes, I agree. Way too much hate for Ronda Rousey. I think she did a pretty good job, and she was underrated.
Yeah, agreed, man. What else shall we talk about? We even talked TNA or TNA, NWA. Who are we?
Yeah, geez.
NWA supporters since day zero.
Hey, man, we loved NWA Power back with Ricky Starks and Eddie Kingston. I'm not unwilling to give NWA a chance. It's just like the roster. You go from, Ricky Starks and Eddie Kingston and Homicide to Tyrus and that weird fucking magician dude. It's a little bit of a drop off. That's all.
The weird magician. I was just thinking of, do you remember when we were kids and they did the reveal to the masked magician? Like, what if you guys think that, the Vince McMahon coming out as the higher power was a letdown. When they revealed the masked magician, it was this random dude with the funniest voice ever. Good times as a kid. Good times.
Oh man, yeah, some hilarious wrestling reveals. Well, the gobbledygooker was supposed to be something actually good. It could have potentially been Ric Flair, but instead it was a turkey. It was Hector Guerrero wearing a turkey suit.
Man, to think, like at least the Undertaker was around to just kind of forget about that, because that reveal, that could have been Shockmaster levels of shit that we see.
Yes, yeah, that's hilarious.
It really is, to a certain extent, right? I remember watching that in Coliseum home video the first time, and I'm just thinking, what is this magnificent thing?
Yeah, same. Well, like I was just starting to watch wrestling around November 1990. I was 3 years old. I loved the gobbledygooker. I danced around just like him. But I was a 3-year-old toddler child who had yet to be in kindergarten. So
But
that was the
that's
level of intelligence you needed to like the gobbledygooker.
and that just goes to show you the level of intelligence, like of Vince McMahon's booking, right? But at the same time, because they go for the lowest hanging fruit, is what I'm trying to say, right? And then maybe you know what, we can make fun of that, but look at WWE. They've had some success with the low hanging fruit. You know, I'm just saying that other promotions need to start thinking about the low hanging fruit sometime.
Absolutely. Low hanging fruit, Boris, is as nutritious and delicious as the stuff at the top of the tree. Sometimes.
Speaking of low hanging fruit, I need to go shower. I need to start getting ready. I need to.
Jesus fucking Christ. Jesus Christ almighty. That's the end of this show. Thank you very much for listening. NWA coming up October 28th.
Oh my god, dude, what the fuck is going on with us? I can't right now.
Good times. Nice to talk to you, brother.
Always. NWA, Shamalalala, October 28th. We're going to be talking about that. Next week on the show, actually, there is something that I want to talk about on the sports side. This infographic, and I want to see kind of like how, where they got the information from. And it's this, I don't know if I did send it to you. It's an infographic of per province and state, the most hated team per province and state.
Oh yeah, we can go through that next week. That's pretty fun. It's
I
just all Cowboys, Maple Leafs.
Actually, the Maple Leafs don't even show up on it, not even in Quebec, which is the funniest part. Just goes to show you that how rent-free the Canadians live in Toronto's head.
Ah, brother. Yeah, dog. On that note, I'm happy with where we left this podcast. To quote the great Brody Lee, yeah.
Oh, fuck. Oh, whatever.
Leave that in. Leave it in. This is the end of the show.
Okay. Bye, everyone.